Yo, what's up? It seems like Gigguk made a video about me, specifically about my archetype. It's called The Manga Was Better. Now, if you don't know, which you probably shouldn't because I never said it out loud unless you're a stalker, the manga was better. That is my stance. If the anime is shit, I am that one guy. I am the guy that will tell you to go read the manga instead because it's just better. It was just better made. The anime sucked dick, and I bet this is a roast of my archetype, and I'm here to get roasted. Honestly, I'm here to get burnt to the stake.
You either die an anime fan, or you live long enough to see yourself become a manga reader.
Sun Tzu, the art of war.
Sun Tzu.
Fuck yeah.
God of War Ragnarok.
Fuck, man. Giga's jokes just don't miss. Straight up, last video we reacted to, that was the funniest shit I've watched on my channel. And now we watch another one. And the first joke. I love this shit.
You've only started watching anime, maybe even watching it for years. Maybe you don't even watch anime anymore, but you still watch these videos. What the hell are you still doing here?
It couldn't be me. I mean, okay, I watch a bit of anime to be fair, but yeah, I read more manga than anything. It's kind of sad.
Eventually, we all reach that point where there you are, watching that anime, talking about how much you're enjoying that anime, and then there'll be that one dickhead friend who'll rise up and go, "Why are you watching the anime? Just read the manga, bro. It's so much better."
Yeah, it was better made. The art is great. The anime was adapted horribly. The voice acting is mid. The soundtrack doesn't go as hard. Read the manga, guys.
And maybe out of pure spite, you go ahead and read it, just so for once in your life you can shut that guy up. But when you
and then you find out they were right because I am right, bitch.
Realize, fuck. I'm friends with a dickhead. The manga was better is a phrase that's become synonymous with that.
No, that's not what you're supposed to say.
To the point where it's inescapable. But how much weight does it actually hold? What makes a good adaptation? What makes a bad adaptation? Is the manga actually better?
Yes.
Is your friend really a dickhead?
Also, yes, I can, as the person that says the manga is better, I can say that I am in fact a dickhead. That one is true.
Yes. You know who isn't? Today's sponsor, Bespoke.
Whoa, this video is 4 months old, so I'm gonna skip the sponsor.
You again to Bespoke Post for sponsoring me today. Back to the video. The topic of manga and anime adaptations is a long and nuanced discussion that's been had so many times in our community that I don't even know where I can even begin.
Okay, no, that's not fair, because in this one, it makes me look like I'm right, because I am right, bitch. The manga was better. Do not watch the Berserk anime unless you want to get scarred for life, please. This is a personal call out to anyone who enjoyed the Berserk anime. You don't deserve to. You shouldn't have enjoyed it. It was not meant.
Like Godwin's Law, every conversation...
To be fair, the soundtrack from the original, like, super old Berserk adaptation was kind of bussin'. I mean, everyone knows those songs. But, hey, that's not everything there is to it. Soundtrack is a huge part, don't get me wrong, but it's not everything.
Manga adaptations will eventually lead you one step closer to mentioning Berserk. You have, arguably, the greatest manga at your fingertips, and one of the greatest stories ever told.
And arguably the worst adaptation ever made.
Surely, if you just stick to the source material, no matter how it looks, can an adaptation that stays completely faithful to the story and characters still be bad?
No. I mean, yes. There's no... Let's go. More Berserk scenes I've never seen before. Guys, to be clear, I've seen so many clips of Berserk, like, out of context on YouTube, and they always look so horseshit, and it seems like there's a new one I've now watched.
Completely faithful to the story and characters still be bad?
The Black Swordsman, you!
Yes. Berserk 2016 is the benchmark of everything that can go wrong in an adaptation. It's the boogeyman other mangas tell each other when they're sitting around at the campfire. If you're a bad boy, the Berserk monster is gonna come visit your anime. Tell each other.
Bro, the best part is that most of these have been adapted. Like, pretty much all of these are getting adaptations. Aside from Zombie, aside from the one where the guy wants to, like, a bucket list at the end of his life, the one on the right. I've read the manga. I think it's paused or whatever, on hiatus maybe, I don't know. Or maybe it just got copyrighted, because I read it on a site that is slightly illegal, so I can see why they would stop uploading there if they got taken down. Regardless,
around at the campfire. If you're a bad boy, the Berserk monster.
The Masho adaptation is looking good from the trailer. Oshinoko obviously went good. Everyone enjoyed the tomboy girl anime.
No, Daddy, please.
This one, the trailer also looks pretty quality.
Good boy, please give me a good adaptation. Yeah, well, tell that to Promised Neverland over there. But adaptation.
Hey, Promised Neverland was great. The one season that they made. I wish they had a season 2 though. That would be great.
don't nearly need to be as bad in this order of magnitude for the manga to be better. In fact, Berserk has not had one, not two, but three chances to get it right, with all of them having their own shortcomings we see with a lot of other adaptations. The movies had updated animations, some beautiful scenes, but sacrificed precious time building up its cast of characters.
Yeah, you can't adapt a story that's that long in a single movie duration. It just doesn't work.
So many anime have had the dilemma of, okay, we only have a certain amount of runtime, so
please don't show me Tokyo Ghoul. This makes me depressed as fuck. The manga was better, guys. I'm sorry. Tokyo Ghoul is a horror anime because it's horrific how much they fucking butchered the source material. Man, I wish I would have.
do we focus on those big climactic moments or quite?
To be fair, the big climactic moments were fucking. Where you go, and then he goes, like that was sick. And then they started playing the opening during the fight. Why did we stop doing that? That was cool. Like, actually, what made us think that we no longer want that? Are we like adults now, so we don't want opening during the fight? No. Whenever they play an opening during a fight, I go, wow! Hell yes, it gets me hard. No, it doesn't get me hard. Well, okay, it does depending on the fight.
Fuck it. Get rid of all those quiet parts, not realizing that it's those nuanced character scenes that make those big moments.
Yeah, this anime, for example, it looks visually stunning. The fights are choreographed great, but I had zero investment in it because it was just fight after fight. It's just a single fucking tournament cup, which is cool because everyone fucking loves tournament arcs. But guess what? If I'm not invested in the characters, then I don't give a shit about the tournament arc, about characters I don't know. Like, how do you not get this right? This is so sad. Just make it like 16 episodes. It doesn't have to be a conventional episode length. Like, yeah, okay, maybe you don't have the budget to adapt a fucking whole 24 episode season, but just add a couple in there. Like, make some episodes longer. Pull a ReZero for us. Come on, man, I can't.
It's so hard in the first place. Ironically, the best adaptation Berserk got was its first one, which is only really held back
by and it's only as good as it is. Well, okay, no, actually, I haven't watched the first one, but
by a fuck you cliffhanger ending, an animation that can rival a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, I mean, it was made so long ago that I don't think, like, yeah.
It's still a really good anime because, well, it's fucking Berserk. But here's the real question. Can I definitively say that even though this is a good anime, it does enough to warrant a watch over just solely reading the masterpiece of—
No, just play the Berserk soundtrack from the anime while reading the manga. You will have such a good time. That is the best way to experience it, bar none. I accidentally just stopped recording. Whoopsies.
The manga. Well, yes, because it gave us some of the best dub outtakes of all time.
All right, who's gonna jerk me off?
Me.
Sometimes I ask myself, if an anime follows a manga one-to-one and all it does is add music, color, and voice acting, is that enough to call it a good adaptation?
Yes.
And for me, that answer is no. If I watch the first episode and I see that all you're doing is—
Okay, no, obviously if you're just slapping the still frames, but I still think the answer is yes. So, like, okay, let me put it this way. You make a manga or you make an anime, right? Anime functions differently from manga. It is a different media. It is straight up just it's different. It's not still frames. So of course, naturally it has to have filler frames, and naturally the dialogue has to be structured differently to work because there's no page turn, there's none of that. So it can't be a literal carbon copy. But if you work with the source material and you make those still frames that people want to see, and yet you still make you adapt it into what an anime should feel like, I believe you have 100% chance for a faithful adaptation that everyone likes. Now, you can go creative risks and make something that goes above and beyond the source material, and everyone is happy when that happens, but that is a miracle that only happens to a select few things. So honestly, I would be happy with an animation that is just with an anime that is just faithful to the source material for most of it.
Adding a generic soundtrack and mediocre animation? Fuck it. I'm just gonna go read the manga and
yeah, because you can fill in the frames. With the anime forces you to see, like, the anime, there's no skipping. You don't choose the pace, how quickly you read it. So if it's not pace 12, it's just gonna be straight up worse.
Watch the anime. Don't lie to me. I know you've done the same. Look, man, I'm a grown-ass adult.
I do that all the time.
Now with grown-ass response.
I watch Gigguk's fucking. I watched one of his VODs where he just talked about a bunch of isekais. Guess what I did? I read the manga for all of them. There's zero way in hell I'd go and watch the anime because they're made by some unknown studio that I've never heard before. It looks visually mid. It's not the camera angles, if you can call them that. You know, the virtual camera angles are not that cool. The still frames aren't as bad. Aren't as badass. The voice acting is mid. It doesn't give me chills like the manga. Like, so why would I ever read it? Like, you know what I mean? Or so why would I ever watch it instead of reading it?
Basically watching anime, except you can do it way faster. To me, an anime really needs to
at the exact pace you need. Although for me, yeah, that's usually way
something
faster.
above average to warrant a watch because so many
Yes.
come in with the philosophy of being a glorified advert for the source material anyway. That's why seasonal anime have low-key become a manga recommendation platform for me for those
That is literally what I said. That is literally what I said. Guys, absolutely pre-watched video.
shows that I find catch my interest but just have completely bog standard production values. If you're wondering how I go through so much isekai, that's the secret. And on top of that, before an adaptation can even
Same.
be good, there
Same, absolutely
are
same.
so many things it has to avoid to be bad. Back in the day, long-running anime
I mean, filler is kind of being killed. Filler's dead. Nobody does filler anymore. And if you do, you're doing it wrong because that is straight up the opposite of the trend right now. Like, that would be like making Let's Plays and calling it Minecraft Starting a New World Episode 1 in 2023. You don't do that anymore. And if you do, you're stupid.
anime had this obsession with staying on air for as long as possible, but every franchise would run into the same problem of catching up to the current manga it was based on. Their solution? Let's just make them do a bunch of stupid bullshit. Back when I first watched
Wow.
Naruto, even my dumbass 12-year-old brain registered something was off when I was like, why did Naruto go from chasing Sasuke to becoming a giant robot? Does no one here have any urgency about what just happened? And it was then that I
Yeah. I actually watched it on a website that had a when I watched Naruto, I obviously pirated it because I'm a silly I was a silly little kid, you know. And anyways, I pirated the shit, and the website I used had like tabs for what episodes you're not supposed to watch because they're just fillers. So I just got the main plot line and it was great.
discovered the concept of filler episodes. Thankfully, modern day anime has realized now that basically everyone skipped filler episodes anyway, but where
Yep.
it gets really messy is when the filler starts getting integrated into normal episodes.
Yeah, because then you can't skip the whole episode. And what do? You kind of just have to get bored and not enjoy the main episode as much. That is straight up just murdering your own anime. That sucks the hardest dick of anything ever.
And I hate to
It's so sad when that happens. I don't know even how to put it into words. You're straight up going and destroying what you made. That is self-sabotage.
do this to one of my favorite franchises of all time, but that's the reason I stopped watching One Piece. The One Piece anime is something I hold dear to my heart, but after a certain point, the anime just became unfucking watchable for me. I'd noticed several episodes in a row would have a 5-minute recap of stuff I literally just saw. They'd keep cutting to characters.
Recap syndrome also got fixed ages ago. It's the same. Yeah.
Nobody gave a shit about to do a scene that doesn't fucking matter. Pacing was murdered by characters constantly pausing and having extended stare-offs where absolutely nothing was achieved except padding out the runtime. This is when filler ceases to be just a minor inconvenience you can skip to something that actively hurts.
Right, well-made stare-offs are great because there's usually some depth behind them, and when a character just stops and looks at another, like if it's a well-made anime or manga, whatever, anime in this case, because you know in the manga you skip the panel after you're done like processing it. A well-made like just a character looking in someone's direction is super good because that just like there's a reason they're doing it, and it's not in One Piece. It's literally padding the runtime. That's all it does. It doesn't achieve any plot relevance or
The
significance.
viewing experience just so you can stretch out the material you have as far as possible. And so I started reading the manga and
it
never
was
looked
better.
back since.
The manga was better, guys. It's true. I'm just saying.
Manga have this obsession with getting a perfectly faithful adaptation, and it's easy to understand why. We've seen Promised Neverland Season 2, we've seen Tokyo Ghoul Route A, we've seen what happens when an anime looks at a manga and goes, no, I'm actually gonna do my own thing now, bye
Yes.
bye, fuck you. Anime original endings, shows that completely rush through the source material, the list goes on. And
Wait,
because
you've
of
seen
this,
Promised Neverland season what? It doesn't. What? What are we talking about? What?
it feels like there's a pressure to stick as closely to the manga as possible, but is being 100% faithful always the best way to go?
I just talked about this again, so I'm not gonna pause to explain my point a second time.
Boys
But
is a great example of this. It took a violent, edgy for edge's sake comic and reworked it to be a modern satire of superheroes and commercialization, making it a far more interesting product than it ever was.
That was diabolical.
But
well, yeah, no. See, this is the thing. As I mentioned previously, you can go and make something better and make it something completely different, but you're taking a creative risk, and it may or may not pay off. If you just make what the source material wanted, but adapt it into anime form, not as in just literally just animated, but I mean like present it in the way an anime should be presented rather than a manga, it will do just as good, maybe better, maybe worse, you never know. That's why it's called a creative risk.
Anime has also done similar things. K-On! Transformed a 4-koma manga into a coherent, ongoing storyline with a bit of
Bocce the Rock did a very similar
music
thing.
sprinkled in that became one of the most beloved slice of
And Bocce the Rock is better than K-On! Fuck you, K-On! fans.
anime to ever come out.
Okay, maybe not the fans, but Bocce the Rock is better though, just saying.
Devilman Crybaby did. Well, have you seen the original Devilman at all? Being faithful, while proving to be a
Haven't, never heard of it.
route to success, can sometimes be a shackle if the anime is just trying to take every panel, every scene, and putting them on the screen.
Yeah.
Because what I think we don't see enough is what it means to adapt to anime itself.
I think we do, at least recently. The quality of recent shows has been skyrocketing. It's actually crazy where they're pulling the money to do this shit. But right now, what we're seeing with shows is insanely well-made
Manga has
adaptations.
a lot of strengths as a medium. You turn the page of a Junji Ito horror manga.
Okay, don't mention Junji Ito. We all know the horror Junji Ito anime is so fucking sad to look at. Like this, it's eerie. You look at it, it's like, oh, whoa, that is creepy. You know, there's a little shiver down your spine. You look at the anime, it's like,
And it's effectively a jump scare. You're greeted with this detailed, horrific imagery that will haunt your nightmares, gruesome drawings that'll seep into your unconscious, never to leave your memories again. And in the anime, it's like, why did Squidward have a baby with Megamind?
and like that's very faithful to the source material. You know, it's drawn exactly like in it. But this looks fucking stupid.
Transforming a manga to anime doesn't mean just adding movement. You need to know what works for anime and vice versa. You know, it's easy to show you a panel of Mob Psycho 100 and a scene from the anime and be like, I wonder what's the best way to experience this story. But I think it goes deeper than just animation equals good, because what I think is more important is capturing the soul of the original while translating it to what works best for film.
Exactly. Guys, pre-watched. This I pre-watched. Absolutely pre-watched.
To make my point, we need to talk about something entirely different. Light novels. You can almost always tell within 5 minutes when a show
when a show is adapting a light novel rather than a manga.
is adapting from a light novel as opposed to a manga.
Pre-watched. I watched this video. I haven't.
Characters aren't afraid to go on overly indulgent internal monologues. There will be long scenes of nothing but just dialogue between 2 or more characters with almost
To be fair, I often don't mind because I just like when characters go monologuing to themselves for 10 minutes. Probably because that's what I do in real life myself. But
nothing visually interesting going on. Character A is talking, okay, cut to character A standing still and talking. Character B starts talking, okay, cut to character B. A is talking.
to me, I prefer that over boring action.
Again. Okay, cut back to A, then B again, then A. It all feels so rigid, like an AI program looked at the script and went, okay, plot understood, here are your storyboards. And only in the rarest moments does it feel like any thought was put into the visual aspect beyond the dramatic scenes and action moments.
Yeah, of course it's better. Like, I said I like it, but obviously, given the choice, I'd prefer that exact dialogue to have a level of animation. Like, I want the characters to be doing something, you know? Maybe if a guy's sitting on a desk, why not have him tap his pen or, like, do something, you know, wiggle the leg? Wiggle the leg? Why did I phrase it like the leg? Well, why did I say wiggle the leg? What the fuck does that mean? No, I mean, like, you know, do the thing where you go... Like, characters... people move around. You don't just sit and, like, even if there are people who just sit around, you don't want it to look that way. Maybe move to a different shot of something else going on outside, you know, like make it interesting. Like, I don't mind an episode where it's just 2 characters talking for 20 minutes straight, so long as there's something to look at, because otherwise I'm just listening to a podcast, and why am I even watching an anime when I could be listening to a fucking audiobook of the light novel, you know what I mean?
Manga adaptations, boom, instantly. Dialogue is used more sparingly. You normally get a sense there's a bigger emphasis on visual storytelling, which makes sense, because did you know manga has visuals?
Books with pictures?
Of course there are exceptions, but on the whole, anime based on manga often feel very different to anime based on light novels
Bro, good words are so stupid.
based on light novels because the source material is always written or drawn with their original medium in mind.
Yes.
But
No shit. Like, naturally, if you're writing a book, it's gonna have dialogue.
the anime take this into account? You look at a dynamic shot like this and you immediately feel, alright, now this is an anime original production, not bound to any manga. But way more anime could do things that are suited only for anime, like one of the big things where manga can falter.
Yeah, like, this is not... How the fuck do you even write a scene like this happening? This is something you have to storyboard on paper, pretty much. I mean, you can write it out, sure, but it doesn't happen usually.
Not bound to any manga. But way more
Most scenes that even are animated with, like, the, you know, the low texture, so to speak, where it's just like, you know,
do things that are suited only for anime.
stuff like this.
Like one of the big things where
Mainly made for anime.
manga can falter, it's in the action.
Yeah, okay, that's true. Action can look oh fucky.
I'm sure we've all read that one manga where there's that big epic fight happening. Punches are being thrown, swords are swinging, shit is hitting the metaphorical fan, and you're like, I can't tell what's going on. Subtle movements in intense action scenes can easily get lost on a still page, so manga needs to compensate by portraying big, clearly defined actions so the reader...
Which means the amount of actions and how much choreography you can do in like 10 panels or 100 panels even is nothing compared to having thousands of frames to work with.
Doesn't lose track of what's going on, or just have a bloody monologue explain it. Take a look at this live action choreographed fight scene. This one's a favorite of mine. You have two guys fighting, the protagonist and the big boss, and the big boss is always just one step ahead. The man has counters for counters of your counters, and this is all conveyed in split seconds. No explanation, you can see what's going on. Now, if this was a manga, this fight would be like, okay, what he's gonna do is throw a mid kick to my left, so what I'm gonna do is catch his kick, then elbow his leg so he can't kick anymore.
Or even worse, if they don't do an explanation and just show the frames for it to be like cinematic and cool, what you get is just a bunch of movement that makes no sense, and you're just looking at brain dead action.
And the other guy would be like, haha, fool, I'll just bend my leg at the last second, blocking his elbow and nullifying his attack. Oh no, he blocked my elbow. Well, in that case, what I do next is... The great thing about anime is that these rules do not apply. So why is it that almost every adaptation pretends that it doesn't? More often than not, anime fights of a manga have the pacing of the manga fight.
Yeah.
The framing lists exactly...
Well, that's because that just means it's not adapted correctly.
Frame. Actions get...
Like, having identical frames is fine if you have cool frames leading up to it and they're not stills, because a frame isn't... It's only a frame in the manga. In the anime, it can be an animation. It doesn't have to be a frame with action lines on it.
Even if we can clearly convey it through movement. Now, unless you're embracing the chaos like JoJo or Baki, you shouldn't always need to do this. Part of the reason I love the Hanami fight from Jujutsu Kaisen is that it strikes that perfect balance.
Yeah, it adapts the manga very well in the way that what happens is it's built, like the action that's going on is exactly what happens in the manga, and yet it's animated. It's adapted to the medium
Of
that
explaining
it's in.
Todo's power, but still showing you the effect it has on the opponent. But there doesn't even need to be any complex action going on. Ufotable looked at Demon Slayer and went, okay, this fight isn't too complicated, so how much can we push the climax of this one part?
Is he gonna talk about the one where shit goes upside down?
How much can we raise the bar of hype and excitement to build towards this one moment? And that resulted in a scene with one of the highest...
Okay, no, that looks crazy. Fuck, the Demon Slayer looks like the best, like probably the best looking anime there is, full stop, right? But it's just Demon Slayer. It sucks. It's just Demon Slayer. It's just a fucking boring ass shonen. No one's gonna watch it. I mean, no, everyone's gonna watch it except for me.
This was one of the moments that defined this year of anime, and this incredible, this out of the world scene was 5 fucking panels in the manga.
Yeah, that's a good adaptation. That's what you call a good adaptation.
There was a whole panel explaining Uzui's sound power, and they went, no, we don't need this bullshit. This will just mess up with the pacing. We can show this visually. And then proceeded to turn this into...
But if not for the explanation in the manga, they wouldn't know what to do with it. Like, it needs to exist somewhere. Like, there has to be an explanation of it somewhere, and it just happened to be in the manga. So, I mean, in this case, the manga just seems like the source material for making a better anime.
Motherfuckers might as well have just turned water into wine, but this isn't limited to action scenes either. One of my favorite scenes from Naruto comes from a moment with Shikamaru. Spoilers for Naruto Shippuden, if you still care about that. Shikamaru has just lost his team leader, and they're all in the process of mourning. Randomly, his father invites him to play a game of shogi, which isn't too unusual for the two of them, and in 2 minutes of one single unbroken shot, his father slowly lectures him during the game. And in that moment, his father has shot, his father slowly lectures him.
Why did the video just time skip? What the fuck was that?
But in that moment, his father has given him permission to let out all the pent-up feelings he's been holding on inside.
Okay.
His is amazing. It's a masterclass.
Oh, did he use a soundtrack you're not allowed to use? Fuck, that stinks. Oh, that sucks, man. To talk about something in the video and then the YouTube doesn't like the soundtrack used, so you just kind of have to cut it out.
Photography and visual storytelling, and it is Not in the manga at all. Yeah, by the technical definition, this is actually filler. It's shit like this that's like anime. A scene like this would have never worked as well in manga form, but with a different approach, you can take what a manga tried to convey and translate into something only anime can do. Berserk, Vagabond, Uzumaki, Goodbye Eri. These masterpieces of manga wouldn't do.
Is this the
Berserk, Vagabond,
horror manga?
Uzumaki.
Where everything is, yeah, by Junji Ito, okay.
Goodbye Eri. These masterpieces
Goodbye Eri, Goodbye Eri is so fucking good. And yeah, I cannot imagine how you do it in anime form. No, it's possible, but you'd have to speak with the author themselves and make it together, because the framing in Goodbye Eri is intentionally tricky. Like, it intentionally tricks you, where you have to question whether you're looking at, like, the inbuilt, like, you have to question the way it's built. Goodbye Eri. Well, let me show you this.
Vagabond, Uzumaki, Goodbye.
Yeah, the way Goodbye Eri is drawn is that you can't tell if a panel is actually happening in the manga or if it's a movie inside the manga, like if it's what the character is filmed and showing. And there's like fucking 10 levels of that. And the only way to make it have the same effect in anime form is to make it together with the author, so the author can lead the fucking animation team. And Tatsuki Fujimoto, I guess I should mention his name. He would have to fucking manually explain it on the spot to the people how he envisions that scene to look. And I think it is possible to make it in anime form. It would just be very difficult, and there's a lot of thinking that would have to go into it.
Eri. These masterpieces of manga work so well because they are manga and fully utilize their medium to the highest potential. You can turn to some of these panels and it feels like a painting. You can pause the page, analyze every little detail, every single scratch of the pen the artist etched into this page. You can take that moment to just take it all in and marvel in the moment for as long as you need. And in the anime, it's like, oh, hey, that's a pretty background, it's gone. This is just an inherent difference in the medium, and the only chance an anime will ever get to adapting these works well is if it can actually play to the strengths of its own medium.
And sacrifice some of the things the manga did better and do some things better on their own that only the anime can do better than the manga. You just take an L in one aspect, but take, a couple dubs in a different one. And that's the only way.
Of another, which is so goddamn rare. Is the manga better?
Yes.
Honestly, yes.
Yes! Let's go!
Most of the time. So many more things can go wrong before they go right. You need to have the right production, the right resources,
A manga can be made by a single person if they're dedicated enough, which most mangakas are. They are actually insane.
Right time to make a good adaptation, and even then, if it doesn't do enough to go above and beyond, a lot of us are probably going to end up picking up the manga anyway. But the reason I'll never stop being an anime watcher completely is because when an adaptation does get it right,
it gets it right.
Manga to heights it could never reach by itself. When you get a truly special adaptation that you get to experience for the first time on screen, it is a magical experience I will never stop chasing, no matter how many mediocre adaptations I need to sit.
Bro, imagine this. The source material for Made in Abyss didn't have a soundtrack. Just think about that for a sec. Imagine Made in Abyss without music. It's just not what it's what like that doesn't make sense. How? The visual novel was better. Yes, I agree. A lot of the time. The visual novel. And I typically just read what's it called? The fucking web novel versions, because you have to pay for light novels. So I read the raw material.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that video. Thank you very much.
I did.
Alpha Sigma, Basil, Dysfunctional Degenerate, Flabberwocky, Ivido, Jeff, Lavados, Misaka12315, Hayne Patchett, Pony Stark, Waltergeist VT, and everyone else on my Patreon for helping to support me for this month and making.
Yeah, thanks to his Patreons, guys. If you hit up the link, that's gonna be the first thing you see now. Awesome as always. These videos just never miss. Huh? I'm not doing a reference to 2017 fucking
this video.
How long ago was that even? Well, literally, what year was that? 2014? I don't know. Ages ago.
So possible. Guys, it is.
If you hit up the link, first video is gonna be his. First link is gonna be his video. Second link is gonna be my main channel. Hit it up. It's pretty cool. It is pretty fucking cool. I make better videos there, but I don't make them as many times. I'm gonna stop doing this, but it's just kind of funny when my face goes blah, blah, blah. All right, self-plug's done. Subscribe to this channel, please. and like the video, you know. I don't think it helps with the algorithm because clearly it doesn't fucking matter. I have videos with way better like ratios that... yeah, I don't think it helps that much. I have videos with way better like ratios that perform worse. So I don't fucking know how YouTube works anymore, but I think it helps. So just do the thing. Do the thing. Okay. Goodbye. For real this time. Bye. Bye.